Hi everyone, welcome to our live career and franchise opportunity webinar. Looking forward to sharing some great information with all of you. We have a large group today. We had over 300 people register for this event in about 12 different states, so really excited about that. All right, so let's get going. So the three areas of focus that I want to accomplish on the webinar is, number one, how to lose 12 to 30 pounds in 12 weeks or less. For everyone on the call to learn this, and also if there's anyone you want to help. And basically, Get in Shape for Women, this is what we focus on is transformation. So I want to make sure we cover this topic in the webinar. Second one is how you can turn this passion to a career of doing meaningful work. And then thirdly, those that are interested in opening your own franchise, just some basic information and some next steps. So these are the three areas that we are gonna dive into. All right, so the first thing that we kind of jump into is what we call positive focus, and we learned this doing some offsite consulting with a group, and it's been really helpful in helping us create effective meetings that put everyone in the right frame of mind. So basically, the concept is everyone in the meeting share either a professional or personal positive focus, something they've done in the last, could be 30, 60, 90 days. And it just helps you get into the right mindset for the meeting. And if sometimes you have a rough morning getting out the door, and if you jump into a early morning meeting, you're not going to be in necessarily the best frame of mind. So this helps you kind of clear your mind and get ready for a productive meeting. So let's see, positive focus. I'll go, and if each of you want to kind of share your own positive focus in the notes section of the webinar, you can do so or write it down. Just good to think about something great that's happened to you in the last 30, 60, 90 days. So for me, I guess my positive focus I'll share the last 30 days is my family and I, we took a vacation on the East Coast for a couple weeks in a town called Plymouth, is where I grew up, and it was fun to see family and friends and do some of the stuff that we love to do. So that was a great experience for us. And professional positive focus, I think is just trying to pick one. I would say that our new growth in Northern California, we have a couple of 2-3 studios opening up, and that's where I'm located right now. Getting excited to open up a studio in San Anselmo, California. That's going to be really exciting. So those are my two positive focus. All right, moving on. Our purpose. Part of the consulting work that we had done, which is really helpful, is to help us kind of articulate our purpose, core values, and current mission. And in purpose and core values, we've always had down, but it's just really good to be crystal clear with everyone that you're talking to, whether it's for a career or a potential franchise owner, just so everyone really understands, what you guys do. So we want to be really clear. What we do is we empower women through body transformation, and we spend a little bit of time here because in some ways you can get confused that we're a fitness model for women, small group personal training for women. We provide a great training program for women, but all that's great. But without transformation, all of that doesn't mean much. So we want to be really clear that our purpose is to empower women through body transformation, measurable change. So that's our purpose. Core values. This was the next exercise we did, which was great. It was really difficult because I think if anyone asked you what your core values were, you would kind of scratch your head a little bit. It's a little harder to dig into. So this took us a little while, and a lot of times you have to kind of go way back and reconnect with what it is that you really love about your company, your business, what you do. And for me, I had to go back to the first personal training studio I opened in 1995, and then had moved it up the road in 1997. But basically, looking at the core values, we spend a little bit of time here Because what's great about showing your core values, it's either going to attract people or repel people. And unless someone aligns with your core values, it's really not going to be a good fit. So I'll kind of share, I'll touch on these kind of quick, give you an idea. So we treat our customers like family. This would help me connect with this one or create this one was thinking way back in one of my first personal training studio when I invited all my clients to my wedding. And it made me think now that I would ask an owner or a manager, would you invite all your clients to your wedding? If the answer is no, then maybe you don't have the right relationship with your clients. So we definitely want to make sure we're treating our clients like family, our customers like family, and not just like customers that give us money. So it's really making sure you connect with your client. We have a passion for health and fitness, number 2, obviously. We believe in the power of positivity, number 3. There's always different ways to look at everything, and we choose to focus on the positive, and it just makes life a lot more fulfilling and work. We wire our customers by exceeding expectations. So this is something we feel really strongly about. We've created a bunch of systems in our franchise model to make sure that we do this. And ultimately, in any service business, I think especially, is when someone makes a purchase, they're expecting, a certain experience. And we just need to really make sure that whatever the customer expected to get when they signed up with us is that it's a lot better. And the same thing goes for franchise ownership. We need to make sure at the corporate office that the franchise experience is better than what you expected. And unless those things happen, you can never build a great company. It just won't happen. If you're only delivering what you're selling, then you're going to be average at best. So it's really important to over-deliver. Moving on, we check our egos at the door. This is a common one that a lot of companies have, so we definitely didn't originate this, but it's an important one, so we felt to use it again. There's a lot of trainers that are coming into our program, managers, and a lot of superstars that have had a ton of experience. And the thing with ego, which is important, is to make sure when we come into our studios and our businesses, we kind of check it, because anytime an ego is too big, the learning process goes away. Because if someone has a really large ego, they know everything, and if you know everything, then it's a dangerous position to be in, because nobody knows everything. And so we constantly want to check our egos at the door, and then obviously next one, we're continually learning. So we are insatiable learners, constantly engaging in consulting, the latest business books, the latest development trends in franchising and fitness and business. So just always make sure that we're on top of everything that's going on. And then we're sharing this information with, of course, our franchise owners, everyone else on the corporate team, and all the way down to our trainers. We believe in honest, open communication. So this really is just about making sure everyone's honest and open. And in many cases, if there's this starts with the clients, and the clients really appreciate if you're going to be, you show them how much you care about them, but you want to be honest with them in their current situation and why they are or are not getting results. They can really appreciate that. So we're honest all the way down from the working with our clients to our franchise owners, at the corporate team. If someone if something wasn't said the right way, it's really important to kind of get that off your chest and get out in the open, and then at least it can be dealt with, rather than just sweeping things under the rug and not communicating. So we really believe in over communication. We believe accountability leads to success. So clearly at the studio level, again, it starts at the we do weekly weigh-ins, so it's all about you're here for a measurable goal, and we're going to hold you accountable to reaching it. Crystal clear at that level, and then all the way up, our trainers are held accountable, managers are held accountable to performance. Trainers and managers are responsible for different elements of the studio, which is really nice. So we have dashboards that we use that keeps everyone focused on what they're responsible for. We hold owners accountable, and we hold ourselves accountable. So we really want this to be a culture of performance where we as a group just don't believe in average. We really are striving to do something incredibly great. And then lastly, we love what we do. And this, I've been really fortunate for about 20 years now to be, running personal training studios, and I started personal training about 23 years ago, and just have always loved what I've done, and I think you just get spoiled. But a little story I like to tell is I got a buddy that golfs a ton. He stays home and takes care of the kids, and his wife works. And he's always getting me to go golfing. And sometimes I could genuinely go golfing, but I'd rather go into the office and work. And it's something you don't really want to tell people, because most people don't experience that, where going to work and playing is like the same thing. So for me, having 3 kids now, it gets easier when you're trying to help them navigate, because to me it's help them find their passion and figure out how to make money at it, and ultimately never losing sight of making sure you do meaningful work and you love what you do. All right, mission. So this is the Jim Collins BHAG, and it's for us, it's to open 5,000 locations by 2036 by developing the best fitness franchise model in the world. So clearly, we want Get in Shape for Women to go from, a U.S. national company to a global company, and we believe we can achieve that with just constant steps, constant improvements in the model. And we believe we'll start to grow internationally in the next probably 2 to 3 years. So that's our mission. All right, let's get into body transformation. So this is what we do. This is what we do, and this is what makes the Get in Shape for Women model really unique and a lot different than other fitness concepts out there. So the 4 components is a big thing that we stress. And we're constantly stressing that body transformation is the key. The key is the sum of all parts. If you take one of the pieces out, it's just not going to work. And a lot of times I'd have clients in my office, and I would ask them, have you ever performed weight training, cardio, nutrition, and accountability at the same time? And not one time did someone tell me yes. In all the years I've been doing this. So that just tells you right there, if you take out accountability, which means you think you're doing weight training, cardio, nutrition the right way, it's not going to be as effective. Even though you'll do fairly well, you're probably not going to reach the level of transformation you're looking for. You take out weight training, the same thing. So we really dive into these 4 components with a lot of depth, and then obviously a lot of progression. Your client starts, we kind of tackle the 4 areas, and as the longer they're with us, the deeper and deeper we go into the 4 components. All right, so weight training so what we do at the studio level is we use these awesome little boutique fitness studios, TRX, kettlebells, free weights, plyometrics, a lot of different things. So the concept of weight training basically is we want to increase someone's lean body mass, which is going to increase resting metabolism. So to give you an example, if you increase just 5 pounds of muscle, you're going to increase your resting metabolism by about 200 calories a day. So every day, every time you go to bed at night, your body's going to burn 200 more calories than otherwise. So the person that didn't build the muscle would have to get on the treadmill at 10 o'clock at night and run for 30 minutes, where you get to just go to sleep. So muscle is very important element in body transformation. So we have a real strong weight training component at Get in Shape for Women. Cardio. So second component, cardio. We deliver cardio through 25 minutes of high-intense interval training, and the premise, of course, is to increase calorie and fat burning, increase your good cholesterol, HDLs, lower your blood pressure, and lower heart rate. These are all things that can get you in great aerobic shape, burn a lot of burn a ton of fat and calories. If you look at the cardio setup, we have a little interval timer in between the 2 TVs on the screen, And every week we change what the intervals are. So we keep it fresh, keep it fun, but ultimately we're always doing intervals. So it could be 1 minute, it could be 3 minutes of a baseline pace, and then 1 minute excruciatingly hard. It could be 1 minute on, 1 minute off, but it changes every week for 12 weeks, so it keeps it fresh. And the cool thing is all the clients are doing the same interval at the same time. So they essentially get to pace each other and motivate each other. Nutrition. Here's a big, pretty big topic. We feel come up with what we feel is the best program in the industry, and we've simplified the confusion of nutrition and helped put together a program that's scalable and it's customizable, and there's really no reason anyone can't follow it. So basically, like as you see on the screen, our nutrition, we call it a nutrition blueprint, and we essentially help clients establish 6 days a week of what they're going to eat, typically 3 different options. But within these options, what we coach is framework, and this is where it gets easy. So basically, we're going to give you an Excel sheet, a bunch of sample menus that have all the details of calories, protein, fat. But ultimately, when we help you build out your nutrition plan, it's going to consist of 13 to 1600 calories. Of that, you need 100 grams of protein minimum, 8 to 10 glasses of water, eat every 2 to 3 hours, and you get 1 free day. So 6 days locked in, 1 day free. So the 6 days are non-negotiable. Nothing free, alcohol, nothing. It's clean 6 days, and then your 1 free day every week. You can go to dinner and kind of at your leisure. And the way we build out the nutrition plan is we would sit with a client, we help them create one option for breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, snack. So it's really six meals a day. And then what we're doing is we're just building out what are the 3 options for breakfast, what are the 3 for the snack, 3 for lunch, 3 for snack, 3 for dinner, 3 for snack. And then when you already have the plan set up, then you can go shopping, you can have all the food available. And when you're eating every 2-3 hours, you're never getting really hungry. And we all know that the hungrier you get, the worse your choice in food gets. And we just want to stress that food is for fuel. It isn't supposed to be for wow, at least all the time. And it's really important to make that the clarity. 6 days we're minimizing the wow, and we have, of course, the 1 free day to parties, go out to dinner, all that cool stuff. Now, of course, once you transform and hit your goal, the potential for probably a 2nd free day exists. But at least this is the model until you reach your goal. Accountability. So the 4th component, which is definitely the most important, is you need to be held accountable by someone other than yourself. And really, it's if you're doing this yourself, hold yourself accountable. Have someone else hold you accountable by telling them what your goal is, and you tell them what you want, what you want them to do. Weekly weigh-ins, obviously motivation, hard conversations, and manage behavior. So the accountability piece is clearly what everyone lacks when they're trying to achieve a certain level of fitness, and we provide one of our most important pieces. And it just ties the whole program together. When you have a coach that's going to put you on a scale every week and either kind of frown or smile, just that pressure is enough to get you motivated to follow the program. And this lady in the photo, her name is Helen. I had taken her through a 7-day training program in our corporate studio and got some photos. And the idea with our clients is we're going to let them know, look, Helen, when we get on the scale, if I don't see it moving in the right direction, we're going to have a hard conversation. So you let them know in advance what's going to happen if they don't follow the program. So the way we deliver the workout is something we call workout of the week, and we have so basically it's 12 weeks of workout. So the way our model works is the workout changes every week for 12 weeks, then it just resets. And every week we deliver different upper and lower body exercises and different cardio intervals, as I mentioned. And to get everyone on the same page, we've created a video library. So each week we send out a video link so that you and your staff can go through the work, practice the workout of that week prior to going live with your clients on that Monday morning. So we have a lot of videos, a lot of pictures, then we have pictures that get displayed in the studio at each station. So everyone's clear, this is what we're doing every week. And the cool thing about a system is once you systematize the training piece, you can be free from it. And if you're training, the way that our model works is we're basically training 4 women every half hour. So clients will come in at 6 a.m. We'll have 4 clients, and then 6 to 6:30. Then they move to cardio. Then they do their 25 minutes of cardio. So every half hour, we have a new set of 4 women coming in. And if you didn't have a systematic approach to training all of them, it would just be way too labor intensive, and your trainer would just burn out. So this allows our trainers to follow a system. It allows the clients to learn a system, at least to be engaged in a nice flow. And it frees up the trainer to be able to coach nutrition, talk about, just connect. Just coach nutrition, grab a weigh-in, and focus on all the other things that go on in a business, not just the training. As we know, training's only one of the 4 components. We want our trainers to be able to coach cardio, coach nutrition, and then do some weigh-ins. So how do you get started? A good way to get started is we have this free report and video series. If you go to our website and you put your email address in, you'll get this cool PDF report of this basically of a program, how to lose 7 pounds in 7 days in the privacy of your home. So it's a really cool body weight exercise program with nutrition, with a cardio component where you just run outside. But I would encourage all of you, anyone on the call that wants to lose 7 pounds in 7 days, just go take this challenge. And a lot of our owners and managers had done it. A lot of clients have done it with a lot of success. So this is a great way for you to get started. If you know someone, put their email in, get them started. Just because obviously we all know if you see some good results in the first week, it kind of pulls you in, it gets you motivated to then continue. This is a good way someone can learn about our nutrition model and just the basic structure, accountability in what we do. So this is how I would recommend people get started. Okay, so webinar focus. So I think we had a good review of how to lose 12 to 30 pounds in 12 weeks or less, and it's just following that exact structure that I just mentioned, whether you do it in a gym, whether you do it at home. Just follow the 4 components, and once you kind of get into the 4 components, make sure each week you're progressing the 4 components. Your weight training is getting harder, your cardio intervals are getting harder, your nutrition is getting cleaner and cleaner as you progress, and making sure you stay within obviously all that framework, and then holding yourself accountable. So if you follow those guidelines, you'll have no problem hitting the 12 to 30 pounds in 12 weeks, and good luck with you there. All right, moving on to number 2, how to turn this passion into a meaningful career. So basically, the best managers that we have, the best trainers that we have, they're people that have a connection to obviously transformation and fitness. So really what we're really looking for is people that just, they were born to help people, they were born to transform people, and particularly we focus on women. So how to turn this into a career? The different positions that we're looking for that we use in the model is managers, full-time trainers, and part-time trainers. So managers are responsible for all aspects of the model, and in many cases we have a bunch of multi-unit owners, and the managers will essentially run the studio as if they owned it. We have 4 corporate studios right now, and our managers perform every single task as if it was their own studio, other than pay the bills. They do everything else. So these are the positions. Managers, it's usually 40, 50-hour a week. Full-time trainers, we like to keep our full-time trainers to 40 hours, just to minimize burnout. And part-time trainers are usually working anywhere from 10 to 20 hours a week. And how to apply? If you go to our website, you'll see a career opportunity link. And when you look at there's a drop-down menu where it says preferred location. You can pick a studio that's currently open, and if there isn't one open, you can choose other, and then you can put in desired location. And what's really important about this, as I mentioned, we have a bunch of people on this call. If we don't have a location where you reside or where you want to be, if you put in this desired location, it'll tell us that there's a demand. And if we see, for example, 10 managers looking to manage a studio in a particular area, that's going to help us then speak with all the people on this call that are interested in owning and say, oh, geez, if you're interested in owning in, for example, I don't know, let me use like somewhere in LA. We could say, wow, we have 5 managers looking to manage, and they're all in the in the LA area. So we would put you in touch with each other, which is kind of cool. So the cool thing about this current franchise opportunity webinar is we're able to put owners and managers together to create teams. So then you guys can go execute and hopefully be number 1 or in the top 10 of our system. So currently we have 94 locations in 17 states. This is where you would be, if you guys are familiar with where we're located, if you're going to apply to existing locations, and as I mentioned, if not, make sure you put in a desirable location that you wish we were open. And then areas of focus. So at the corporate office, what we are planning on doing in the next couple of years is strategically opening corporate-owned Get in Shape for Women studios all around the country. And what those studios will do is they'll provide support to the area and also create a spark for the area. And we know right now there's about 71 people registered for the call in California, a lot in, of course, New England area, and then we have a bunch from Southern Florida, the Houston, Texas area. So we're going to strategically put probably 5 to 10 corporate-owned studios around the country, and then we'll use those to provide local support to all the franchise owners that open, and that's kind of our growth plan. Right now we have a corporate office in Needham, Massachusetts, where we started, and then we now have a corporate office in Northern California, just outside of San Francisco. All right, so I touched on how to turn this passion into a meaningful career. If you go to our website, you can read a little bit more about each of the positions that I discussed, and then when you apply, and if you don't hear back, don't try not to get discouraged. Just keep applying and be patient. We'll definitely just keep applying, and if someone doesn't get back to you right away, just keep stick with it. And continue to work on your own transformation and your own passion for fitness, and just make sure you translate that passion for fitness and transformation in your cover letter and in all the work in your resume, and because that's really what we look for. There's a ton of people with fitness experience out there, but there's not many that have a passion to transform people, and those are the ones we're looking for. All right, so let's move into, for those interested in opening their own franchise, so franchise opportunities. Again, as I mentioned, these are where we have people interested in owning. These are the call them kind of focus areas, just because we have a lot of people that have shown an interest. We have a few up in Seattle area, a bunch in California, Colorado, and a ton in New England. So we're our plan, like we said, is to those of you that are interested in owning. We want to help you connect with local managers and trainers in your markets that are also interested in joining Get in Shape for Women, and ultimately helping you build your team even before you even before you sign a franchise agreement. So it's possible that you actually get comfortable with your team. It's all about the right people, all about the right team, even before, obviously before you open and Get in Shape Women. So this is where we're focusing a lot of our efforts, a lot of our resources to make sure we grow. This is where we're going to put the next, 100 or 200 locations in these areas, and they'll help get in Shape Women to the next level. So this is something we call our franchise startup. It's a process. Each of these boxes represent a bunch of systems and a bunch of checklists. And the thing about franchising, what's really important is that you have to systematize everything you do, and because people fail, systems don't. So we're real big believers on systematizing our workflow, and it helps us improve each and every time we do something. So this is I'll kind of touch on all these boxes, kind of give you a high level, and then we'll get into detail on a few of them. So webinar is the first step. This is the first step in someone that may be interested in opening their own studios to listen to this webinar, which is about an hour long. After the webinar, the next step would be an initial phone call with Dan, who is our Director of Franchise Development. Following his call, I usually get involved with a couple of calls. So both of us will have usually a handful of phone calls with someone, and then that would proceed. Then Discovery Day would be the next step. And then once we've kind of talked to you a bit, we want to meet you, and we hold Discovery Days at various times, and there could be anywhere from 5 to 15 people there, and it's just a great way to meet the corporate team, look at our support offices and what we do, and kind of get to know each other, because really it's a long-term relationship, and it's really important that we we align with core values, and we understand that our relationship is to transform women first, and clearly the studios have to succeed financially, and so we're really pushing our owners to perform to a high level, because we know that's why people are getting on board, not just to have fun running studios, but to make money. So Discovery Day, and then the people that attend Discovery Day, we give out what we call territory hold forms. So we're able to hold up to 3 territories for a period of time while we both do due diligence. That way no one else can purchase the territory that you may be interested in. And then if all goes well and we're a good fit for each other, then the next step would be to sign the franchise agreement. So the FDD is the federal disclosure document, which is the franchise agreement. Then you're officially an owner. You would secure a territory, and then you would get something we call a franchise checklist. And this is an 80-page kind of manual, and it more or less shows you the detail of everything that you must do from that minute until your grand opening. And after opening a bunch of locations, you just get better and better and better at systematizing the process. Then we keep going. So site selection, we're going to get into that whole process, letter of intent, lease negotiation, help you develop a floor plan, help you run your build-out, hire a contractor, help you hire your team, franchise school, grand opening, the whole grand opening process, our site visit to your location, the support we're going to provide you and the ongoing support, and then something we like to do, a one-year analysis. So after you've been open a year, really just have the whole corporate team kind of chime in and do an analysis on how you've done. And then for those that are interested in multi-units, if you're ready for a second store, we probably have a handful of owners now that that want a second store, but they're not ready. And one of the requirements that we like to give is some of our owner operators that are really involved in the studios, they're the manager, is take a month off. And this one owner kind of looked at me puzzled, like, what do you mean take a month off? And I said, well, why don't you take a month, hire a manager, you take a month off where you can't go in your studio for a month, and let's see how well your manager performs. Obviously, after you train the person, and then if they perform well, then you're ready to start the process of a second studio. But if they don't perform well, then it's easy for you to step right back in. But what you don't want to do is open up a second studio and then find out the manager you hired can't perform the tasks at the level that's necessary, and then you're then you got to go back to square one, and now you're trying to run 2 studios. All right, so these are the 3 manuals I discussed. This is where we have a ton of our information: new franchise checklist, the construction manual, and the operations manual. This is where we go into a ton of detail on the opening, build out, and operation of a studio. So you'll get a lot of information out of these manuals. Startup costs. There's essentially a range, and the studios have cost anywhere from $51,000 to $200,000 is pretty much the range. And what makes it such a range is the 3 elements below: cost of build out. So in some cases, we'll get a landlord to deliver us a turnkey build out, so it virtually costs nothing. And in other cases, it's a $50,000 build out. So that's that range. Additional funds, $0 to $50,000. That's basically the funds needed in the initial 3 months of business, so the initial startup phase. So some owners open up, guns blazing, and they get right out of the gate, and they don't use any additional funds. And others, on a little bit more of a learning curve in the sales process, will use some additional funds. That's kind of the range there. And then equipment. Some will lease the equipment and just pay the deposit, and some will, write a check for the equipment. So that's really where the $51,000 to $200,000 range comes in. So hours of operation. Our studios are open Monday through Friday, 6 in the morning until noon, and then 4 to 8 at night. So between 12 and 4, we don't run any training, but the managers are present. So our managers typically work. They may work, they may work 7 to 4, or they may come in and work, 9 or 10 a.m. to 7 or 8 p.m. So it's usually that kind of shift. That way they're catching both morning and evening women throughout the week. But we don't run the training midday because there's just not a big demand for it. And so therefore it doesn't make sense to staff it and increase payroll. So the trainers will usually work at least 2 split shifts, which would be they'd work 6 to 12, and then they'd have a 4-hour break, and then work 4 to 8. So a little tough, but then twice a week or 3 days a week, they're only working either 4 to 8 or 6 to 12. So it's a really short day. But that's the life of a trainer, and they enjoy it. And then Saturdays 8 to noon. This is more or less the first kind of phase, hours of operation. Then once these are full, then what owners will do is they'll typically expand their hours. They'll open up Saturdays at 7 a.m. and they may open up early and start a 3:30 session Monday through Friday, and then start like an 11:30 session. So they're done at 12:30. They just start to expand the hours a bit to accommodate more customers. And as I mentioned, those are the hours: managers, full-time trainers, part-time trainers. And then just the clarity, again, is we train 4 women every half hour. So at capacity, we can train 8 sessions an hour. Studio expenses. So here's just a sample guide of what you can kind of bank on for pretty standard expenses. And you look through rent, utilities, local advertising. There's a really robust budget in local advertising, and this is in place once the studio is full, which is right around 150 customers. We call that an operating max. The plan is we typically start to back down advertising, and again, it's just based on, the advertising is there, it's mandatory, but clearly once your studio is full and you have a waiting list, then we can start to back that down, which will increase profit margins. National Fund is just a fund that develops marketing and PR across the whole country. Any travel and meetings, studio and office expenses, your full and part-time trainers, health insurance, different fees, insurance, IT software, cleaning and maintenance, that kind of stuff. And then if you have any lease loans, kind of left that out. And then the royalty, the other expense is 6% of your your sales is what you pay in a royalty to the corporate office. That's really the only fee that goes to us, other than your initial franchise fee. The initial franchise fee is $29,000. I didn't get into that. And then the ongoing, so the initial franchise fee at $29,000 is those are the funds that we use to basically take someone through the whole startup. And and once someone buys a franchise, we kind of rearrange all of our time, the whole corporate team. We align the resources of everyone at the corporate office just to help you through that process. And the ongoing royalty, the reason franchising has a percentage is it keeps the franchisor focused on increasing your sales. And if franchising, it was a fixed rate, everyone paid just a flat fee, there'd really be no incentive other than for the heck of it for the franchisor to improve your sales. But we like the fact that there's a percentage royalty, and it helps us drive performance and really push you to continue to do better and better and better. And in many cases, I sat with my corporate team and said, geez, would you rather open 20 new locations or increase everyone's revenue by, $3,000 a month? And everyone, of course, voted, well, let's just increase everyone's revenue by $3,000 a month. And then I would say, well, that's equivalent to opening, 20 new locations. So in many ways, this all points back to unit success. If we just focus on the locations we have and really help them improve sales, all of our growth will come, organically. Training options. These are our packages. So basically, if you look at 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, when we sign up a client, we're focusing on, how much weight they have to lose. And typically, we'll recommend a pound a week over the course of the whole transformation. If someone has 20 pounds to lose, I'm going to say, well, you're looking at 20 weeks. You're going to lose more in the beginning and less at the end. And we all know that's how weight loss works. The last 10 pounds is a lot harder to take off than the first 10. So I would sell that client a 6-month package, and I'd recommend really 4 days a week. And if I could get everyone to train 4 days a week, that would make my job easier, but at the least 3 days. So we're always setting up, 3 and 4 days a week, and then a fallback if someone just doesn't have the budget. We would work with 2. And then once there are 2, of course, we try to push them to come more. Everything we focus on is helping them reach a particular goal in the shortest amount of time. That's the basis of our relationship. Is I'm going to help my client lose whatever it is, 10, 15, 50 pounds. And then for those that need to lose, beyond 20, 30 pounds, then they're really looking at 12 months. And same idea, 3-4 times a week ideal, just to make sure that we leave no chance that you're not going to transform completely in that period of time. So the different revenue streams that we have in the studios, so obviously new sales that we just talked about. Upgrades, so what an upgrade is, if I go back to the price sheet here, if someone signs up for 3 or 6 months, we give them the ability to upgrade to a bigger package in the first 30 days and only pay the prorated difference. So it's really an awesome system where someone may sign up for 6 months, first 30 days, they're like, wow, I love this place, they've done well, they've lost some weight, and we say, well, why pay $26 a session when you can pay $21? Let's upgrade to the year. You're not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. Let's make sure we hit your goal, and then we can make sure you're going to maintain this new weight loss. So, big part of our model is new sales, upgrades, and then renewals. Renewals really are the back end. So once a client has completed their 6 or 12 month time frame with you, then they're up for renewal. And we always say that, you bought a franchise for year 3, and the reason is, it takes the first year to really learn how to run the model, build a clientele base. The second year, it's really the clientele base is going to start to mature. And then the third year, you should have all revenue streams firing, new sales, upgrades, and renewals all firing at the same time. Because obviously when you're new, you're really only getting new sales and upgrades. You're not really going to tap into renewals yet. Protein sales we have, and something we're developing right now is an athletic clothing line. We feel a company we're working with that claims to have Lululemon quality product, but they just don't have the brand, and they'll brand it with our our logo, and we plan on like testing it in a handful of corporate studios and put like a mannequin, different clothing. So that'll be fun because we all know our clients. We have about 11,000 clients in the model right now. They're all running out to these other stores buying all their workout gear. So we might as well create our own line and save them some money and keep it in house. This next thing is called Item 19. It's a document that we pulled out of our franchise disclosure, the FDD, and this is what we do every year in terms of rating how well the studios do. So what this shows you is looking at 2013, out of 92 studios that were open, the average revenue was $25,047 a month, averaging all studios open even greater than a day. So some that have been open a while, some that just opened, that's what the average revenue is. Average monthly expenses around $18,500. So the income before a manager's salary, so for an owner-operator, the income running an average studio based on these numbers would be $79,000 a year. And then it just shows those that surpassed it in terms of number. And then the next slide, the same thing, part of Item 19, is we get into really looking at the top performers. So 2013, top 10% averaged, right around, the 30, just under 39,000. Then looking at their average operating expenses, income before manager's salary around 220. So that's pretty good for an owner operator in a high performing model. And then looking at down below, we itemize the top 10 studios just to give you an idea, like who our top 10 performers are. These are people that we have in our what we call President's Club, and they do a lot of teaching and a lot of mentoring to other franchise owners. And clearly, everyone wants to be where they are. These are stores that are performing month in, month out, year in, year out, and they've really got a knack for delivering a great customer experience. So that's how those numbers look. Site selection process, I kind of touch on that a little bit. If you go to zipwho.com, and on the left, you look at the left side of the screen, you punch in you pick a state, pick income, median income range, population range, and then it's going to give you a whole printout. So this is a good place to start to try to see where the best zip codes are. And basically what you're looking for is a combination of wealth and population density. Those are always going to be the best spots just because there's just a ton of people there, a ton of women there. And this is just a New York location we were looking at for someone, and has crazy demographics. So once you narrow down a zip code or a few of them, then we go to different locations like different internet sites, LoopNet, CoStar, and Craigslist. And we usually use these three tools to find locations. There'll be a ton of pictures, a lot of information. That's kind of how we narrow, what's on the market. And then obviously, if you're in the area driving by, nowadays everyone posts available locations through these different sites. But in some cases, maybe a small owner of a retail place will only put a sign in the window. So we find a location. This is really what it would look like. We'd kind of get a printout, give us all the details about the spot. And then we run demographic analysis on the location, and we can run any kind of radius, but typically we'll run a 1, 2, and 3 mile radius around the store, and then just see what type of demos they have. And in this case, looking at 3 mile radius, this location, it was 191,000 population, so pretty significant. Realizing there's almost 100,000 women in a 3 mile radius. So clearly, this would be a fantastic demographic, a lot bigger than normal, I might add. This part of New York is an incredibly dense part, and also the more dense an area, the less of a radius you can draw from. All right, so we touched on site selection. Get into a little depth on floor plan. I'll just show you an example. So we're going to help you, once you find a location, help you develop a floor plan just based on best practices. What's a comfortable flow, clients kind of moving about the studio. This is a sample floor plan of a new location that we have up here in Northern California called Santa Rosa. Really nice open floor plan. Support. Ton of support, ton of ongoing support. So it starts with, of course, franchise school. So when you buy a franchise, sign a franchise agreement, you're going to then schedule a week at the corporate office in Needham, Massachusetts. We're going to put you through, all facets of the model. We at our corporate office, we have a replica studio surrounded by glass, so it gives us an opportunity to actually run a model while you're there for the week. We have a weekly owner call, and myself and Lou DeFrancisco, who is our president, we have a weekly webinar with all the owners where we do Q&A and just keep everyone kind of connected and making sure everyone knows exactly what we're doing. And again, over communicate has worked really well for us. There's various weekly support calls focused on different topics like sales, nutrition, new client experience, upgrades, renewals. There's all kinds of support calls that happen every week via webinar. We do a month-end live stream, so usually we'll live stream a meeting at the corporate office in Needham, and all the Massachusetts owners will come in, and it'll be kind of a nice meeting, and then we just live stream it across the country so everyone outside of Massachusetts can just attend the meeting via live stream. And then our quarterly meetings, every quarter, we're usually in Boston, and then it's a time where all owners and managers get together, and it's a full day, 8 in the morning until 3 p.m., and it's just, roll your sleeves up, round tables, panel discussions, and really kind of getting into the nitty-gritty of running a studio. And then our annual convention is usually a 2-3 day event. It's usually every February. Last February we've picked usually a 5-star hotel in Boston, and they've always been great. And this year we're talking about this coming February, we're having it in San Francisco, since I'm located out here, and it'll be fun just to change up the location. Boston's pretty cold in February, so it might be nice to change it up. And I think every year from moving forward, we may just change the locations to keep it fun and exciting. So here's just a quick snapshot of our system. This is, during franchise school, we're going to dive deep into each of these boxes, which again correspond to, scripts and systems. But really, everything, looking at the far left, it starts with vision, culture, capital, strategic planning, all about the right people. We then have a marketing conversation, make sure your marketing is dialed in. And then we have a conversation about sales, making sure you're converting all the leads coming into your store, new client experience, body transformation, and this community. And the ones that are in yellow, the vision one is a new addition. And the community we used to call client fulfillment, but we've focused on calling it community just to really highlight the importance of creating, connecting the women in your model. And we got a ton of stories and some great things that owners are doing to make women feel welcome, and women are making friends and going to coffee together, and just we do all kinds of community events at the studios, have guest speakers come in, and tons of fun. Referrals and testimonial systems, bunch of stuff there just to make sure that we're growing. We're not just relying on marketing, but we're capturing new clients from our existing clientele base. And then lastly, it's just enhancements to the model. So we're at the corporate office, we're constantly looking at ways to improve the model and make sure it continues to compete really well with other options that are out there. Just a picture of a quarterly meetings. These are roundtable discussions. Each table has a different topic. So really, we get a lot of great feedback from these. And a lot of times, each quarterly we'll have brainstorming sessions where we scribe, best ideas that come from brainstorming. So that's really helpful with decision making. There's some managers that we break up the owners and managers just so we keep the conversations kind of relevant. So the managers all work together as do the owners. Just another owner shot. And then we really like to recognize our top performers, and it just keeps it really fun and keeps everyone growing and pushing for the best. But basically, on a monthly basis, we award a first place trophy to the top franchise, and we also recognize the top 10 on a board that we print out that we have on display at the quarterly meeting. And then quarterly, again, a first place trophy for the top studio for the quarter, and again, top 10 boards for the quarter. And then annually, first place trophy for the top franchise of the year, as well as who the top 10 franchise locations were, top 10 studios. And then what we've done in the past is we invited the entire teams of the top 10 studios. So, owner, manager, trainers, and then, partners or spouses, just because these teams have really done an exceptional job, and we feel great to have them at the award ceremony that we have every year. Here's just a picture of our top 10 owners 2013, and this is we had this at the Boston Harbor Hotel in Boston, which was great. Technology. Moving on, so we chose to go with MindBody. Some of you may be familiar. If you can check them out online. It's called MindBody Online, and the biggest reason we went with them is we were looking for attendance tracking, mobile scheduling, and then more robust reporting. And we previously had a custom app that was developed, which had worked great for a while, but it just couldn't take us to this level. So we chose to kind of get on board. They're the largest provider of fitness software, and because we're a fairly good-sized franchise, we have them doing a ton of custom work for us right now. So we're developing a dashboard that pulls key metrics from the MindBody application, and that we're hoping to go live with that in the next few weeks. And that'll make it really easy for our owners to really understand, areas that they're excelling at and areas for improvement. This Everest mission is just a document that we use in the strategic planning, and it helps you, look at your base camp where you start today and kind of map out a 5-year plan. And, how many customers are you going to have, average revenue, and then how many studios. It really helps you kind of yourself get motivated and motivate your teams and really help everyone kind of get clear on what your individual purpose is for your own company, which could be, in one location, it could be in 5. Everyone's different. So following this webinar, the next step in this little checklist is you would have an initial phone call, and this guy right here, Dan Henry, here's his contact info, 781-444-1913, extension 11, and he'll kind of take you to the next step, and then work through that. And then if all goes well, I usually do the second call, so I would speak to you after you spoke with Dan, and then we go from there. And as I mentioned, Discovery Day, if you go to our website, check out getinshapewomen.com/Discovery Day. That's where we post when our upcoming Discovery Days are. And that would be after a series of calls. We want to meet you, whether it's out here in California or we get you to come to Boston. We'll see what works, what's more convenient. If you go to our website, you can learn and read more about one of the major international charity that we support, which is called Fonkaze, and they empower women. They empower Haiti's poorest women. So we got on board with them about a year ago, and we just was really proud of the work that our owners and clients have done. We've raised somewhere in the $40,000-$50,000 for this organization, and they, as I said, they only work with the extreme poor in Haiti. And to qualify for their services, you have to be a woman and you have to have children. So very, very focused. These are just some accolades. Entrepreneur Magazine ranks us right now number 279 out of the top 500 franchises, and of course every franchise's goal is to be number one, so we're constantly pushing and growing. Inc. Magazine, 1414 in the top 5,000, so we're always paying attention to how we get ranked, and we of course are doing everything we can to improve. These are some books that have really made a big impact on myself. So I would really recommend taking the time to read all 8 of them, and it's just pretty amazing. Upper left corner, the E-Myth, this guy Michael Gerber, just small business guru, powerful stuff. Rich Dad Poor Dad series, Jim Collins stuff, and then Think and Grow Rich is a really great book because it's first time I read a book that's all about the mind and just thinking about your mind as a muscle, and what you think about each day is what you're going to get. And thoughts are like assets. It's really important to control your thoughts. So definitely some books I recommend. And then there's some TED Talks that I would also recommend take a peek if you haven't already. These 3 are I think some of the top 3 that are out there. Pretty powerful. Okay, so webinar focus. Hit how to lose 12 to 30 pounds in 12 weeks or less. We talked about turning this passion to a meaningful career, different opportunities present, and then how to open your own franchise and what the next steps are. We're a few minutes over the hour, so pretty close. We end all of our meetings with final thoughts, and this is a great way to kind of wrap up any meeting that you have. So we just like kind of structure. It just really helps. So final thoughts for me. I'm excited about this webinar process. This is, I think, the 3rd month that we've done it. We've had anywhere from 150 to 300 people register for each webinar. So we're really excited that we're starting the momentum to start to really build out 250 to 500 locations in the U.S. over the next 3 to 5 years. Really looking forward to next steps, and hopefully I get to talk to some of you on the phone. And again, those of you that are looking for a career, get your resume in on the website and apply, and just maybe apply every quarter if you don't hear back. And for those of you that are interested in a franchise opportunity, definitely make a call with Dan, go through that first step, and then if that goes well, I would hope I get to talk to you. All right, everyone, have a great day, and again, appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to be on the call. Bye.